Hello, everyone. I'd like to introduce our speaker to start with. Dr. James Deutch is a licensed clinical social worker, and he's a retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel social work officer. Before he moved to the Villages in 2015, he headed up the University of Hawaii's Family Education Training Center. Dr. Deutch now lives in the village of Santiago. His book, The Respectful Parent, a manual for moms and dads, was used in the University of Hawaii's parenting classes, which he taught for 12 years. Dr. Deutch is the Vice President of TLC Services and serves on the board. So I will hand it over to you, Dr. Jim.
Well, thank you. Building rapport with your grandkids. That's the name of the talk today. But what I'd like to do is begin by giving each of you a present for being here. And the first thing I'm going to do is give all of you the courage to be imperfect. Let me say that again. The courage to be imperfect. Because being a parent or being a grandparent is imperfection, and that's okay. The second thing, I think I'll give you a second gift, and that's the idea that perfection is a direction, not a goal. Again, perfection is a direction, not a goal. And in my 2012 book, I wrote a song, and since I was the author, I got to put it in the book. And maybe later on, I'll sing it for you and we'll all sing together, because it's a great one for walking with your grandchildren. So, are we ready to begin? Okay. I wrote some stuff out, and I like to read my writing sometime. So here it goes. Savvy grandparents always look for ways to enhance their relationship with their grandchildren. Each summer, visits come with a basket filled with challenges and rewards. Every visit finds the little ones taller and older. With growth and years comes new tests for grandkids and grandparents alike. Over the years, grandparents have asked me this very important question. What can I do this summer to make the relationship with my grandchildren something they will forever remember? Well, I think the answer is quite simple, but yet it's kind of hard to achieve. To my mind, the answer lies in the quote from the famous poet and writer, Maya Angelou. Quote, "I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." So helping your grandchildren to feel good about themselves goes hand in hand with building a meaningful relationship. Grandparents have a magical powers when it comes to building self-esteem in young people. Using this gift can make all the difference in a child's life. Now, the best way to develop a relationship with your grandchild is to become an expert in listening. What are they telling you? What do they need? What do they want to share? Learn who these young people are by hearing what they have to say. Your best communication will occur when you are 99% listening and 1% speaking. If you forget, think of the letters LLSS. They stand for listen liberally and speak sparingly. Now remember, your eyes are for seeing, your ears are for listening, your mouth is for housing your tongue. Keep it garaged as much as you can. During your 1% speaking, do not criticize. I believe there is no such thing as constructive criticism. Criticism from grandparents stings and has a very long half-life. If you don't like what the children are doing or saying, gently and kindly ask questions. Questions are more productive than commands. Dump the stern voice stuff. Kids know when adults are playing power games. Now, a well-known secret among successful grandparents is to catch a child doing something you like and give it a positive payoff. For example, if you find the older brother, Don, helping his sister, Karen, with a difficult task, a statement such as, "Thank you, Don, for helping Karen. You make me proud. You make me a proud grandparent." And that will increase the probability of seeing that positive behavior again. So when you listen more, speak less, never criticize, dump the stern voice, and ask questions instead of making statements, your grandparenting relationship will bloom beyond belief. Remember, treat your grandchildren the way you want to be treated. A good conversation ends with both parties feeling like winners. Well, that's number one. We're going to do 3 parts today. The second part will be something that was suggested to me by Lou, who cannot be here today. We're going to do 3 things now. One is we're going to talk about, and we just have, what happens when kids are right in your house. Second, what happens when the kids are not in your house, but you want to continue conversation. And third, we're going to talk about, you're going to talk about your experiences and what you have learned over the years. As I say, the smart people are out there, and I'm here to learn and listen, because I hope next year I'll be invited to come back again. Okay, so Lou has some ideas when the grandkids are not in your home. So what do you do? Well, she said, communicate with your grandchildren in a manner most comfortable to them. Now, I was able to think of at least 3 ways that the kids who do not live with you for the summer or for the moment or for the day, well, they love to text. So texting is one. Email, that's the second. And the telephone, that's the third that I was able to think of. Now, I'm a telephone person, and some of this other stuff I'm not that good at. But if my granddaughter wants to do it her way, then it's my obligation to do it in the way in which she is the most comfortable. And the real question is, what's the best way to engage the grandkids? And believe me, they will let you know. Now, you may have to get a little smarter on how to use your iPhone. I've got one here. I'm still learning how to use it. I know a number of other people are learning how to use theirs. And yet there are some of us who are senior citizens, grandparents, who are really good at that, like Bonnie and Pat. So what we have to do is get better with what we do. Well, the second thing she said is often send your kids indicators that you were thinking about them. Okay, well, Lou likes to write poems. I don't like to write poems. I like to send studies and information and jokes and stuff like that. I also like to send articles that I find interesting that might be useful in their lives. But everything depends upon the age of your grandchild and their interest. Now, Lou wrote something that I really like, so I'm going to read it to you. She said, whenever you feel, well, she writes this to her granddaughter. Now listen. Whenever you feel inadequate, unworthy, or in love, Remember whose granddaughter you are and straighten your crown. I love you always. And I thought that was kind of nice. I think I'll borrow that and use that for mine. When you send a message, don't expect to receive a reply. Grandkids, and even if they do have an iPhone at age 4, they don't usually have a long, shall we say, a memory for sending things back. I think the real thing is when you or I, the grandparent, when we know that we are doing the right thing as grandparents, that should be reward or award good enough for us. Again, don't expect these kids to always reply when you want them to. That's not the game. Do the right thing by them and love them as best you can. Remember, no criticism. I really do think that love is very important in raising children. And the last thing they wanted me to say was listen, listen, listen. And she likes my LLSS. Listen liberally and speak sparingly. I do believe that the best listener ends up with the best grandchildren.